It is 8 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Mountain. The polls are closed. The only people that can vote now are the ones that are already in line. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for live election coverage, primary election coverage here on News Channel Nebraska. I'm Eric McKay, joined by a team of folks all over the state of Nebraska. We have Jake Bartecki. He is standing by at the Brett Lindstrom camp as we keep an eye on the gubernatorial race there. He will have more from him. Brandon Axemet is standing by. He is live in Lincoln at the Jim Pillen camp as they await results there. And then we also have Joe Jordan, who is live with Charles Herbster. So we have reporters at all four camps. We also have reporters out at the Thibodaux camp. They are camped out in Norfolk as well. We will be going to them for reports very shortly. Secretary of State Bob Evnen had said earlier today he was estimating a 35% voter turnout for today. I don't know if this is any indication. I know when I voted at St. Paul's Lutheran Church earlier this evening at about 5:30 local time, I was voter number 102. So not a bad turnout, it appears, for a primary. The main ticket tonight, the main event, the one that everybody is going to be looking at and the one that might keep us all up a little late tonight is the Republican race for governor. As I mentioned, we have reporters standing by at the main camps this evening. Jake Bartecki is with the Brett Lindstrom camp this evening. Jake, what are you hearing? What are you seeing? What's the mood down there as results start to come in?
Jake Bartecki here at View on State in Omaha at the watch party for Senator Brett Lindstrom, who looks to become the 41st governor in the Cornhusker State, going up against, of course, Jim Pillen, the UNL region, Angus Farmer, Charles Herbster. Currently in the room, we're going to expect about 100 people here tonight. It's a pretty calm presence right now. There is a small sense of anxiety in the room. Obviously, it is an election, but a lot of people just enjoying drinks and hors d'oeuvres and food, getting together, talking. It's almost to the level of what a dinner party would be, as everybody's just kind of getting back together. Obviously, Brett Lindstrom does not have as big of endorsements as what Jim Pillen may have or what Charles Herbster may have, but he has a lot of endorsements, and I think people here are pretty confident in what he might be able to do in this election. Obviously, he's able to connect with a lot of the younger voters, and where are a lot of those younger voters at? They're in the biggest cities in Nebraska, in Lincoln and Omaha. So a lot of people just enjoying the evening as they get ready to see what Brett Lindstrom can do in the election here in 2022.
All right, thank you, Jake. And results are starting to come in. Things are extremely preliminary right now. We don't even have a full precinct in yet, but numbers are in the governor's race, so let's talk about them. We've got Carolyn Conti standing by elsewhere in our news studio with more on maybe some very preliminary results in the gubernatorial race. Carolyn, what can you tell us?
Eric, thank you. Yes, we are in the still very early hours of these unofficial election results. But so far, as you can see, Brett Lindstrom is actually in the lead with a 39.66% voter turnout and 6,601 votes. He's followed here by Jim Pillen with 33.41% of the vote, and that's 5,560 voters. And he's followed then by Charles Herbster. If we get into the Democratic nominees, we see Carol Blood with 92.36%, that's 14,926 votes, and then her opponent, Roy Harris, with 7.64% of the vote only. But this, of course, we will continue to update you as this night goes on, because I do expect this to change a lot.
Absolutely. I don't know that we'll have anything more volatile than maybe if we were watching the stock market this evening. So we'll keep our eye on that. Thank you, Carolyn. If you're wondering, these early precincts that are coming in kind of all over the state, looks like some from Hall County have been counted, Lincoln County, Polk County, even out west. I think I saw Sherman County even had some votes that were counted so far. So a very, very early lead for Brett Lindstrom. There were some Lancaster County districts that had reported as well. And boy, Lancaster and Douglas, those are going to have a lot to say, I think, about what happens with the gubernatorial race this evening. Speaking of that race, we have other reporters that are out and about this evening, including our own Brandon Axemet. He is watching the Jim Pillen camp this evening elsewhere in the city of Lincoln, down to the capital city. Brandon Axemet, how are things going at the Pillen watch party so far?
Okay, we gotta go to election results. Thank you, Eric. Here in downtown Lincoln at the Embassy Suites, where people are beginning to pour in here for Pillen's camp, anticipating, of course, what they're hoping is an election for governor. Now, talking to Kenny Zollner, who is Pillen's campaign manager, he said they are feeling very strongly as we approach 8 o'clock tonight, and the reason being the grassroots campaign effort that Pillen led throughout this election process. Now, he said, and referenced the fact, rather, that Pillen had nearly 400 in-person meetings, and as a part of that visited all 93 counties in the state, and most of them twice, according to Zollner. And he said those are the primary reasons why they are feeling so strongly about Pillen's position entering tonight. Now, at the very end of talking to Zollner, I did ask, so without any sort of hesitation, you feel that you guys will be celebrating a gubernatorial election tonight? And he stopped short of saying a guarantee, but again referenced the fact that the hard work that Pillen has put in and the effort, specifically grassroots and getting out and seeing the people, is the reason that they feel that Pillen will be pushed over the top in this election. We'll have more here from Lincoln as the night progresses. I'm Brandon Axtman. Let's send it back to you, Eric, in the studio.
Thank you, Brandon. And we will be keeping an eye on the gubernatorial race. We'll check in with Joe Jordan momentarily. Did want to give you very preliminary early results in some of the congressional races that are going on. The District 1 race, a lot of the drama out of that one taken out by the federal courts earlier this year. And as you see, this very early on in District 1, right now Mike Flood is very much in the lead there. As you see, these are the gubernatorial races that you're seeing right now. But I can also tell you that in the congressional race, another one that folks will be keeping an eye on this evening as we scroll down a bit is the Democratic race in District 2. Don Bacon has a big lead over Steve Keel. That's not expected to change as the night goes on. But we could see things change there, but that's a pretty big lead for Bacon early. The Democratic nominee in this one is going to be very interesting. This is a race that Democrats have been trying to win, and they've been close. They've fallen flat with Cara Eastman the last two times. State Senator Tony Vargas and Alicia Shelton, two fairly well-known candidates within the Omaha district, now trying to represent District 2 as a Democrat. So far, it is Vargas who's out to a pretty substantial lead in the very, very early going. We have Democratic candidates in District 3, which is rare, frankly, and we'll keep our eye on that. Daniel Wick, no stranger to the political process. He has run as a Democrat for a number of different races around the state, currently with a slight lead over David Elsey. Adrian Smith, of course, the incumbent on the Republican side, with a large lead over his challenger, Mike Calhoun. So congressional races, things we'll be keeping an eye on. Obviously, a lot of contested state legislature races as well. There will be a lot of eliminations in state legislatures this evening, so we'll be keeping our eye on that as well. But back to the gubernatorial race, and back to the man who has made this a race that folks are paying attention to nationwide for myriad reasons, some of which are not the easiest to talk about. Joe Jordan is standing by at the Herbster camp with more. Joe?
Eric, the Herbster campaign ended pretty much as it began, with Charles Herbster reminding everyone that he is the candidate endorsed by former President Donald Trump. He began the campaign that way. It ended with a strong commercial that features former President Trump saying, in effect, vote for Charles Herbster. Herbster, of course, is hoping that the Trump endorsement will offset the accusations that have hit him over the last couple of weeks and in the final 48 hours of the race. The key accusation, of course, being from several women that Mr. Herbster sexually abused them over the past 3 or 4 years. It's important to note that Mr. Herbster has put Donald Trump in the forefront of his campaign. So I had a brief moment passing Charles Herbster in the hallway before we got here tonight, had a chance to quickly ask him if he loses tonight, will he say that the race was stolen, that the establishment took it away from him? Similar, of course, to what President Trump has also said. Well, Mr. Herbster's response, I didn't get one. He just kept on walking. Eric, back to you.
soundbite factory down there in Lincoln tonight. Thank you, Joe, that he is live at the Charles Herbster camp for what will no doubt be a very interesting run of things this evening. A lot of interesting races in the state legislature, and I want to get some early results in some of these legislative races around the state. You know, one that a lot of folks are looking at would be District 8. As Megan Hunt is the incumbent in that district, 2 challengers there so far. You see it there kind of at the top of your screen right now. Megan Hunt, one person will get eliminated, the one who gets the least amount of votes in that one, which right now is Katie Opitz, Marilyn Ern Asher, also running, but Megan Hunt the incumbent with a large lead in that one so far. Let's scroll down a little bit. District 18. This is an interesting one. This is the seat that used to be held by Brett Lindstrom, who is now running for governor. And as you can see, very early on, things are close. We have Clarice Jackson, Christy Armendariz, and Michael Young. And right now, those 3 are separated from first to third by just over 300 votes. That one's going to come down to the wire, it appears, for who replaces Lindstrom in the Nebraska legislature. Again, one of those 3 will be eliminated this evening. District 20, another term-limited seat. This was John McAllister's seat, one of the more moderate candidates, one of the more moderate senators in the legislature. He will be stepping down, and the direction of this seat will be very interesting going forward, as you have in that race John Frederickson, Stu Dornan, 2 guys who have been on the record as McAllister fans, probably politically very similar to him, and then Julie Frederickson, someone who's certainly sitting much more on the right side of things. By the way, she and John Frederickson are not related. They just happen to be running for the same seat. Right now, Julie Frederickson sitting in third. She would be the one eliminated, and it is Stu Dornan with a slim lead over John Frederickson there in District 20. As we move forward, let's take a look at District 26. This one is replacing Matt Hansen. This is a redistricted seat. District 26 has 4 candidates. 2 of these will be eliminated. As of right now, George Dungan III, Ross Barger off to good starts. Barger out of McCook. Was an assistant AG for a while. Bob Van Valkenburg, folks out in the West, they've seen his name a lot. I believe he's 86, and he keeps on running for stuff. He has been a staunch candidate for a long time out there. It's been interesting to see who replaces Matt Hansen in the state legislature. Let's see, we scroll down. Let's see if we can find another one. He's District 40. This is an interesting one in northeast Nebraska. Tim Gregert stepping down, not coming back for a second term. He endorsed Barry DeKay to replace him. Right now, DeKay behind, but again, as you see, just 8 of 56 precincts partially reporting. We have no complete precincts in yet, and this is a number of counties, about 6 different counties, either complete or partial in northeast Nebraska. Keith Kuby, Robert Johnston, Mark Patterfield, Barry DeKay, very close race there in District 40. We also have District 42. Mike Jacobson, who was a Ricketts appointee. Chris Burns and Brenda Fortner also running against him. Right now, looks like Fortner has a lot of ground to gain. Otherwise, this will be a Burns-Jacobson race. Again, a Ricketts appointee getting some pull. And then District 46, another interesting race. This was Adam Moorfeld's old seat. As we look at this race so far, Danielle Conrad, certainly a familiar name in Nebraska legislative circles. She held the seat before Moorfeld, trying to get the seat back. Right now, holding a slim lead over James Michael Bowers, James Harold, sitting in third place. So a lot of legislative races that are up for grabs and a lot of eliminations there as the night goes on. And we'll certainly be keeping an eye on those throughout the evening. Well, it was a big day in Nebraska for the primary elections going on around the state. People had the chance to go out, try to make their voices heard. For the last couple of years, mail-in ballots, more popular since COVID-19 hampered people from physically going out and voting. We had reporters go out to places like Madison and Wayne County to see how the turnout was this year compared to previous years. Madison County Clerk and Election Commissioner Ann Pruce mentioned the amount of voters who requested to be on an indefinite list were in the thousands.
I sent out cards to all voters that had requested to be on an indefinite list, which was over 4,000 voters. And we've probably received over 4,000 ballots back, which I think is excellent, as a turnout, because in 2020 that number was really high, but prior years that number has always been quite low.
Moving to Wayne County, Deborah Finn is the county clerk there. She says Wayne was glad to have people back at the polls.
In the city of Wayne, I think the people were ready to come to the polls. They want to see each other again. They want to visit. They like the camaraderie, and they were.
COVID-19 restrictions obviously easing around Nebraska. People around Northeast Nebraska certainly seemed happy to finally be back at the polls. And I just want to say it was nice to see folks out at the polls today. And I want to give a shout out real quick. We talked to a couple of county clerks there. The volunteers and the folks who are out making these elections run as smoothly as they do in the state of Nebraska. It is somewhat fashionable right now to question the abilities of the folks who are putting on these elections. Let me tell you right now, these volunteers are working hard. These county clerks around the state working hard as well. We salute them. Hats off to them. If I was wearing a hat, I can't because I'm on television, but if I was, I'd be taking it off right now for a job well done. We'll be taking a closer look at some of these local races coming up, but now it's really hot and we might have some storms coming. Heat, stormy weather, even Mother Nature getting in on the political act. Our own Jeff Fox standing by with more in the forecast. Jeff?
Good evening, everybody. It's Tuesday. It's News Channel Nebraska, and we've had mostly sunny skies, with the exception of some of you in eastern Nebraska, though those clouds are mainly, not totally, but mainly breaking up right now. We got temps 60s, 70s, 80s to the low 90s, and in fact, in some of those areas in southeast Nebraska where we've seen low 90s, we've also seen dew points now in the low 70s. So it is not only hot for you, but steamy as well. It looks like we have hit the peak of humidity, so that's good news. Less humid tomorrow, less humid Thursday, but still hot for you. There are the breaking up clouds in the east. These are high, thin clouds over western Nebraska, and I think we're going to see mainly clear skies this evening with clouds coming in overnight and more clouds than sun during the day tomorrow. Pretty good chance we see some evening thunderstorms in northeast Nebraska, and then I think we have a chance of seeing more and more widespread across the eastern third of the state Thursday evening into the early morning hours of Friday. Tonight, 40s, 50s, 60s. Tomorrow, a few upper 70s. It's mainly 80s and 90s. We got an upper 60 or two, 70s, 80s, and 90s on Thursday, and on Friday, behind the front, it's mainly going to be 70s to the low 80s.
In a world where bank fees are running rampant, there's a not-for-profit that dares to fight back. We're 5 counties strong in Northeast Nebraska. Bank with us at Northeast Nebraska Federal Credit Union.
Claybaugh Pharmacy provides you with all the pharmacy options a person would need. As a full-service pharmacy, we give you all the traditional options, but also have the modern technology to maintain your profiles. Maybe you're busy. Head to claybaughpharmacy.com. Click on online refills to get your prescriptions filled from the convenience of your home. Claybaugh Pharmacy and Gift Shop, your hometown family-owned pharmacy.
It is definitely time you consider Midwest Music Center when needing to update or repair your sound system in the school gym, church, ball field, conference room, or any place you're looking for the best quality sound system and to get the best people to install it for you. Your local sound system supplier is located in downtown Norfolk. So call or email today to set up an appointment for a free on-site bid or estimate. Midwest Music Center, located on the River Point in historic downtown Norfolk.
What does farming mean to you? For most, it's hard work, dedication, and livelihood. Unfortunately, that also comes with risk. At Nebraska Crop Insurance in Beatrice, they know the non-stop dedication involved to keep your family protected from that risk and ensure their livelihood. Not only do they know everything about the coverage you need, They're also farmers themselves, so protect what means the most to you with the agent who knows what it means to be a farmer. Nebraska Crop Insurance, 615 Dorsey Street in Beatrice.
Welcome back to live coverage of the primaries, midterm primaries here on News Channel Nebraska. You are looking live at the Brett Lindstrom camp. They are seeing the same screen we are, Secretary of State's page showing with just 2 of over 1,300 precincts reporting so far. Lindstrom with a lead right now, 42.7% of the vote. Jim Pillen currently sitting in second, Herbster in third. But again, this is remarkably early and things could change in a hurry. We're not just keeping an eye on the statewide races, though. We are also looking at local races, and in particular, Northeast Nebraska, which, like many other places around the state and country, has seen an increased level of partisanship entering local nonpartisan elections. Carolyn Conti standing by with more on that. Carolyn?
Yes, thank you, Eric. You know, this week I actually spoke with the Madison County Republican chair as well as the state leader of the Democratic Party, and they talked to me about how they feel about partisanship getting into traditionally nonpartisan races. Here's what they said. The Madison County Republicans recently published the Republican candidates who are running for both city council and education boards. Chair Stephen Sunderman explains it's not an endorsement.
In these nonpartisan city council and school board elections, it's hard to tell, what party they're with and knowing what values and principles they might stand for. And so as a party, we thought it was good to recognize which Republicans were running to help voters in those races.
But why are party values relevant to something like the Madison County School Board? Because small decisions, such as whether to invest in a high-tech whiteboard, can impact bigger ones, such as tax rates.
And so it comes to trying and lowering those property tax values, those levels. A lot of it comes down to, who's on your city council, who's on your county commissioner board, who's in your school board, and what kind of votes are they taking in terms of their spending for those organizations.
While there is no Madison County Democratic counterpart, the statewide Nebraska Democrats say they similarly share which Democrats are running for local government. Executive Director for the Nebraska Democratic Party, Precious McKesson, added, it's even more pivotal now for voters to consider parties when voting for school boards, claiming Democratic principles would protect all types of learning resources.
I do see now with the whole critical race theory, sexual education, I do now see that it is becoming more critical for those boards because now you have, it's becoming more politicized and more political.
The difference between these party recognitions versus endorsements is that the local party constitutions indicate they can't endorse against any of their party's candidates. Each party is only permitted to equally support all candidates.
You represent everybody in your district, no matter what their party affiliation is. Local leadership matters first. You have to be able to be open-minded to changing views that you may have or talk about certain issues that may not be something that your party aligns with.
In Norfolk, Carolyn Conti, News Channel Nebraska. We should be able to take a look at those Madison election results later in the night. For now, there actually are not any results in Madison yet. But elsewhere and nearby, our reporter Jeremy Skiba spoke with 3 mayoral candidates in Battle Creek. Take a look.
A candidate in the Battle Creek mayoral election is looking to tackle infrastructure issues in the community. John Bomar is one of 3 candidates on the ballot for mayor and is no stranger to the duties of the position.
I've been mayor of Madison for 6 years, on the city council for 4. I've been a fire chief. I've worked with senators and congressmen in Lincoln and in D.C. I think I can work with people. I'm a good listener, I feel. And I really feel that I like to get people involved.
Bomar has been a resident of Battle Creek since 2019 and saw the impact that flooding has made in the community. According to Bomar, 127 houses in Battle Creek have been affected by flooding. He says the issue is one of a few that the community should be aware of.
Flooding's been an issue, and I know they've been working on it for over 12 years. And I think that's probably a priority that we've got to get people involved in to really get on top of it. There's a lot of other issues, streets, our swimming pool.
Once flooding is taken care of, Bomar believes the community can really flourish.
This is a great community. If we could get our flooding taken care of, I think this town would really prosper. I think possibly even get new businesses and more houses. But until we get the flooding situation taken care of.
Another candidate in the Battle Creek mayoral race is looking to make the area more appealing to a wider audience. Heath Metler has lived in Battle Creek for the last 7 years, becoming accustomed to the issues the community faces. One of the first issues Metler says he will take action on is infrastructure and helping downtown grow.
I'd like to see some improvements in our streets and sidewalks throughout our community and town. And I'd like to see a few more small business opportunities grow to help prosper our downtown.
Metler added that he would like to work with the Elkhorn Natural Resources District to help fix any problems in town due to flooding. In addition to reinvigorating downtown Battle Creek, Metler would like to create an economic plan for more housing so people can move to the area. He also mentioned his plan to tackle the upcoming tax levy.
We are close to our tax levy right now, so we might have to find other options through grants, proposals, things like that. Reach out to community members that could possibly help in that area so we can try to move forward. If that means grants for improvements to our parks, our pools, streets.
Metler said if elected, he will keep a line of communication open with the public so everyone feels more included. NCN could not reach Barry Ponton, the third candidate in the race, for an interview. Reporting in Battle Creek for News Channel.
Similar to Battle Creek, Plainview in Pierce County has a significant number of candidates running for mayor. No results on them yet, but we will be keeping an eye on those. Of course, the top two will be moving on to the next voting process.
All right, thank you, Carolyn. Yeah, a lot of local races tonight, a lot of school boards that are going to see eliminations later on. Of course, Carolyn mentioned that. I know in Madison County, you have the Norfolk School, well, Madison, there's a bunch of counties, but in Norfolk School Board, 7 people are running. 1 of them will be eliminated for that nonpartisan race. Similarly, the Elkhorn Valley Board has 7 people running. 6 will move on. There are races like that, though, all over the state. School boards have become a hot topic, not just at the local level, but at the state level as well. Nebraska State Board of Education has, it's an officially nonpartisan race, but as we look at the results here, interesting to note that while he would not be eliminated if these results stand, Ricketts appointee Kirk Penner trailing fairly significantly in the District 5 race to Helen Rakes. Penner right now garnering 40.5% of the vote. Helen Rakes just shy of 60% with no total precincts reporting, but we have a few votes in from 226 of the 357 precincts in this race. Again, Penner was an appointee by Governor Ricketts, an immediate member of the board who railed against critical race theory, CSE, things like that. And right now, as things stand, trailing Helen Rakes. Both of them will move on. This is an officially nonpartisan race, but interesting to note where those votes will come out in the end. There will be eliminations in District 7 and 8. Elizabeth Tegmeyer running in District 7 with a distant lead. Robin Stevens and Pat Moore, that's a race for second. Whoever finishes in third gets eliminated there this evening. And then in District 8, Deborah Neary with 55% of the vote in the lead. Marnie Hodgen in second. John Seiler, a name familiar to a lot of folks in Nebraska politics as well, currently sitting in third place. Wanted to look at a few other statewide votes. There are some very interesting races going on in terms of the statewide side of things. So as I click there, we can look again, just a quick look at Republican race for governor. Still a Lindstrom lead extremely early. And these are sort of precincts sprayed all over the state of Nebraska. We've seen some from Lancaster County, some from Lincoln, some from way out west, some from Polk County that have come in, just sort of coming in. Carol Blood has essentially won. The Associated Press has already given her this victory with a huge lead over Roy Harris. She will be the Democratic nominee for governor. The state senator will be moving on to the general election. Secretary of State Bob Evnen being challenged by 2 candidates, Rex Schroeder and Robert Borer. Evnen with a big lead early on there by 13,500 over Robert Borer right now. Only one of those moving on. That's a partisan race. So the 2 that get the fewest votes are eliminated. John Moranti, the incumbent treasurer with a solid lead over Paul Anderson, his challenger on the Republican side of things. Attorney General, well, we will have a new Attorney General, Mike Hilgers, current Speaker of the Legislature, with a large lead over Jennifer Hicks on the Republican side of things. And then Mike Foley, the current Lieutenant Governor, running for state auditor along with Larry Anderson, about a 2-to-1 advantage, Foley over Anderson in the early going there. So a lot of state races to keep an eye on, and a lot of stages that folks are keeping an eye on this evening. There you see Charles Herbster. We have Joe Jordan there watching the camp at Camp Herbster as they get their results in. We have folks camped out all over Lincoln at all three of the what many consider the front runners in the Republican side of the gubernatorial race. We also have a reporter at the Teresa Thibodeau camp who is camped out in Norfolk. As we get more from that, we'll pass it along to you. In the meantime, Jake Bartecki is with the Lindstrom camp. He had a chance to speak to Lindstrom's running mate earlier this evening. Jake, standing by with more. Jake, what are you hearing from the Lindstrom camp?
Hey, for Brett Lindstrom, Dave Rippey here in Omaha. Dave, it's been probably a crazy day for you guys. Now you're here, you get to see where the results come in. First of all, how are you feeling about today?
I think we're feeling incredibly positive today. We continue to feel that momentum, great feedback from the field, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun tonight.
You guys have a good group here. You know, in terms of endorsements, you have Gene Stothert, but you stack up against Herbster and Pillen with some bigger endorsements. How do you guys sort of feel those endorsements helped you today?
We feel really good today about being Nebraska's candidate. We hear a lot about who the other folks are, but we've been out to every single county, 300 communities across the state, and we feel terrific about just listening to Nebraskans and being a great candidate for Nebraska.
As far as how you feel personally, obviously Brett's probably been around to a lot of different places today. What are you feeling? What was the day sort of like for you today?
Today was a great day. Spent time with family today, spent time in our community, and really just focused on the things that are important to our family. And now we're here, and I think the energy in the room's terrific, and we're really looking forward to a fun night.
All right, thanks, Dave.
Yep, you bet. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jake, there with Dave Rippey and the Brett Lindstrom campaign. I should probably check the governor race again. We have very few precincts in, just 2 precincts officially. Brett Lindstrom right now still in the lead, 20,900 votes or so. Jim Pillen in second, Herbster in third. Those 3 appear to be emerging as the 3 front runners in the race for governor. The Lindstrom camp, so far liking what they see numbers-wise. Will that continue? We'll keep an eye on things. You're watching live coverage of the 2022 primary election on News Channel Nebraska.
At Elkhorn Valley Bank, we believe in local. It's something we live by. It's something we're proud of. It's helping our neighbors grow like they've helped us, supporting families, investing in lives, and creating prosperity. Local means making decisions that grow and improve surrounding communities we call home. Investing in our nonprofits and giving back. Elkhorn Valley Bank and Trust, great for you, great for your community.
Stealth Broadband realizes that there's a need for good quality, high-speed internet in the communities that they serve. And that's why our base package offers 4 times the speed of the industry standard. Stealth is a locally owned and operated company. It was started by 4 professionals in the telecommunications industry that are all from Nebraska, which is really cool and super unique because most internet companies around this area are not based out of Nebraska. The future of internet is here.
Nothing is faster than light. Fiber optic uses light to deliver phone, internet, and skidder TV. It's the fastest technology, so you can share, learn, stream, watch TV, or do whatever you want at the speed of light. At Southeast Nebraska Communications, your connection matters to us. We have on-call technicians available 24/7. People, service, quality.
Are you struggling with pain or mobility issues? Do you need physical or occupational therapy? Husker Rehab can help. With 6 locations, help is in your hometown or just a short drive away. Our goal is to keep you moving with the most modern and up-to-date rehabilitative techniques. If your life is being ruined by physical pain, come and see us. Husker Rehab, treating the cause of the pain, not just the symptoms, in Fairbury, Beatrice, Lincoln, and Nebraska City. Visit us at huskerrehab.com.
We define the paths. You define the future. Wayne State College, where opportunities today prepare you to lead tomorrow. Get started at explorewaynesstatecollege.com.
Thanks, Carol, and good evening, everybody. We will get you right back to more Nebraska election results in just a moment. I do want to get you set up quickly with the weather. 60s, 70s, 80s to the 90s right now across Nebraska. And in southeast Nebraska, we still have high dew points, very humid air. It's there and nowhere else, and I believe it's leaving now. You're going to see the dew points, the humidity come down continually now into tomorrow and Thursday. But it starts at a high level, so it'll still feel humid for a while. Meanwhile, just about all the clouds we had in the east gone now. We have some high clouds passing over in western Nebraska, and this is going to move in overnight. That is moisture in the form of cloudiness. It's going to help destabilize the atmosphere by tomorrow evening. So tomorrow in northeast Nebraska, I would expect we're going to see at least some scattered showers and thunder showers, and then the chance that we see more coming late on Thursday night and then into the early morning hours of Friday. And I think what we're going to see Thursday night would be more just in the eastern third of the state, and the potential for severe storms looks to be pretty high. That's Thursday night into Friday. Overnight tonight, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Our afternoon highs tomorrow could be a few upper 70s, but mainly 80s and 90s. And again, humidity in southeast Nebraska is already on its way down. 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s coming up on Thursday. And on Friday, because the front will be through, the temperatures will be down, mainly 70s to around 80. All right, I'll keep an eye on the weather, and I'll see you in about an hour. Meanwhile, more election results. Let's get you back to the newsroom and Eric McKay. Eric?
.37 Central Time, 7:37 Mountain. This is News Channel Nebraska. I'm Eric McKay, and this is Election 2022. The main event tonight is the gubernatorial race for governor on the Republican side. Carol Blood has already essentially done enough to win the nomination. She already has essentially 90% of the votes on the Democratic side of things. On the Republican side, as you can see, we now have 3 precincts officially reporting out of the over 1,300 around the state. And it's still looking good for Brett Lindstrom early on. But again, these are, you know what, let's bring up the map here so you can kind of get a sense for where these results are coming in from. You know, they're sort of spread out all over the state here. Harlan County, right now, Jim Pillen with a slight lead over Charles Herbster. You look in Hooker County, you have Jim Pillen and Herbster are out in front out there. But let's see if we can get to Lancaster County. Now, Lancaster County, the precincts that have come in so far, you've got Brett Lindstrom out in front, Pillen in second there, and in third place is Herbster in Lancaster County. So does the state capital, does the capital city, is that enough for Lindstrom to get over the top? We'll be watching things there. Nothing out of Gage County yet. Well, take a look at Douglas County. We have a few precincts in there, and right now, Lindstrom is carrying the day in the 2 most populous counties in the state. Right now, again, very early, a few precincts are in, and it depends on what precincts in Douglas County have come in, but they are very pro-Lindstrom right now in the early going. As we go out, another one of the more populous counties in the state, Hall County, is for Pillen right now, but slightly. Lindstrom in second, Charles Herbster in third. But as you can see, these are tiny numbers. They're going to get much bigger as the night goes on. But really, how this thing plays out across the counties, both local, metro and rural, is going to have a lot to say about how this election shakes out. Somebody who's watching these numbers like a hawk, Charles Herbster, Joe Jordan is watching the Herbster camp like a hawk. He's standing by in Lincoln with more. Joe, what can you tell us about how things are looking for the Herbster camp right now?
When I get down, one at a time.
Eric, it goes without saying that these early returns aren't what the Herbster campaign was hoping for, but in some respects, it's what they sort of expected. Let me explain. It's a belief from the Herbster folks that the early numbers that came out are largely from Douglas County, Sarpy County, and Lancaster County, a metro vote that would help State Senator Brett Lindstrom and give him an early lead, along with the write-in, mail-in votes that go to the election commissioner's office. It's also believed that those were probably heading for Lindstrom before anybody else. The Herbster campaign, on the other hand, believes that their strong showing tonight, they're still hoping for that, still looking at it, that their strong showing tonight is going to come when the votes pile in from out west. But one number, or a couple of numbers to keep in mind, there's 602,000 registered Republican voters in Nebraska, and 35% turnout from those registered Republicans would be about 210,000 votes. Last time I looked, 48,000 votes were already tabulated, leaving about 155,000 votes to go. So Mr. Herbster would need to get a good chunk of those to come up from his 18-19% to climb to the top of the heap. That's where we are right now. Again, it's early. We've got a long way to go before all these votes are counted, and the Herbster campaign is hoping that they're trending his way in the end.
All right, thank you, Joe. And yeah, that's what we just saw. Lancaster, Douglas County going pretty heavily for Lindstrom in the early going. And as we saw, as we got further west, things started tipping more toward the Pill and Herbster side of things. Want to take a look at things on the local level. Let's move to southeast Nebraska. Carolyn Conti is standing by with some interesting races in the most southeast corner of the state. Carolyn?
Indeed, Eric, it is a very exciting night for the state of Nebraska, but again, honing in on southeast Nebraska, we're going to take a look at the mayoral race for Humboldt. Here we see only the top two will move on to the next vote. We can see so far it looks like it will be Diane Hare and Ron Rathbone. Rathbone with 15 votes and Hare with 8. And then if we look at, I want to actually bring your attention to two ballot issues. One, the city sales tax in Falls City. Citizens of Falls City are actually looking like they're in favor of an increase of about 0.5% in their local tax to improve the city. That's about 84 votes as opposed to 53 against. And perhaps surprisingly, similarly in Humboldt, they're also seeing nearly double the amount of people are for an increase in sales and use tax. Now, nobody appreciates taxes in this economy, but it looks like it may be worth it for the people in southeast Nebraska.
All right, thank you, Carolyn. One other thing that we're looking at here as I try to get to the results here is that in that Richardson County ballot, there might be one fewer city on the Nebraska map after this election. At the bottom of the Richardson County ballot is whether or not to abolish the incorporation of the village of Preston. Now, Preston, Nebraska, tiny community down in southeast Nebraska, and basically the folks that are there are voting on whether or not to go away and go and basically unincorporate. Right now, no votes are in on that one yet, as you see there on the bottom of the page. But again, kind of an interesting vote that you don't see a lot. The village of Preston might be going away once we get our results in this evening. So I guess we'll have to reprint some of the maps around Nebraska if that is indeed the case. Let's take a look at a few more statewide races. Again, as Joe Jordan mentioned, statewide races for governor are going largely in favor of Brett Lindstrom so far, but again, we're seeing some results from out east. As results start to filter in from out west, maybe that changes. Carol Blood has already done plenty to win the Democratic nominee for governor. Bob Evans sitting pretty well so far to once again be the Republican nominee for Secretary of State. John Moranti, the incumbent, with a 2-1 lead in the Republican race for State Treasurer. Republican Attorney General Mike Hilgers, current Speaker of the Legislature, with a wide margin over Jennifer Hicks in the Republican side of things there. Current Lieutenant Governor Mike Foley, running for State Auditor, has a wide advantage over Larry Anderson, the challenger there, 39% advantage there in those statewide races. As we scroll back up, want to look at some of the other races from around the state. This is Board of Regents. UNL has 2 races for their Board of Regents right now, a couple of 6-year terms, District 6 and District 7 that are up right now. And as you can see, District 6, both of them are going to move on. This is a nonpartisan race, but Julie Henke with the lead over Paul Kenny right now. Matt Williams, former state senator, running in District 7. He has a lead over Kathy Wilmot, Nolan Guernsey in third. They would have someone eliminated there if those results hold up. Moving back to state legislature, again, we have a lot of contested races in the legislature right now, and a lot of eliminations that are going to be going on tonight. District 2, we have 4 people running. 2 will be eliminated. Bob Clements right now in the lead, Janet Chung in second, Sarah Slattery and Skylar Wyndham with some work to do, but again, that is very, very preliminary right now. District 6, you've got Michaela Cavanaugh, the incumbent, with a pretty wide lead. Kristen Mertz is currently in second. Elizabeth Holgren is in third there. District 8, Megan Hunt, the incumbent, running away with things early on. Marilyn Aaron Asher right now, the leader to move on to the general. Katie Opitz sitting on the outside looking in as we speak. District 12, Merv Reapy right now in the lead with just shy of 1,600 votes that have come in, and then it really muddies up. Robin Richards is in second right now. Haley Kuchera and Bob Borgeson sitting third and fourth, respectively. Again, the top 2 move on there. District 14, you've got John Arch, and again, only 81 precincts in there, just partial precincts numbers that are in. John Arch in the lead, Corey Vajegas in second, Rob Plugi is in third. District 18, this has been the closest race so far. You have Michael Young with a slight edge over Christy Armendariz. But again, the more important one is the distance right now between second and third. That's Armendariz and Clarice Jackson right now separated by just 137 votes as to who would be eliminated in that District 18 seat. District 20, this is the seat that had been held by John McAllister. Stu Dornan with the lead right now. John Fredrickson is in second. Julie Fredrickson has some ground to make up as more precincts come in. We'll see if she's able to tighten that gap there and maybe move on. Mike Mosier, the incumbent in District 22, very, very early results are in there. Roy Zock in second, Mike Goose sitting in third would be the one eliminated if these early results hold. District 26, Matt Hansen's old seat. Right now, George Dungan III holding the edge. Ross Barger in second. Larry Wexelman, Bob Van Valkenburg, both with work to do in that district. Scrolling down a little bit further, District 40 in Northeast Nebraska. I want to bring up the map on this one just to kind of give you a sense for just how wide this district is. There you can see that is a whole bunch of Northeast Nebraska there, going from almost Long Pine all the way to Ponca. That is a huge, huge district to cover. Candidates coming from all over. Right now, Barry DeKay, who was the choice of the previous holder of this seat, Tim Gregor, the current holder of this seat, who's not running for election, sitting with the lead. Keith Kuby in second. Kuby has run for this seat before. He lost to Gregor 4 years ago. You also have Mark Patterfield and Robert Johnston running for this seat as well. But there you see sort of the breakdown of where that district is and kind of gives you a sense of what we're looking at in that district. We'll scroll back down. Apologies for the fast scrolling here on live television to get you back down to the races that we were looking at in we were at District 40. And we'll see, there's a couple more sort of at the bottom of the screen here that I want to look at in terms of legislative candidates that will be eliminated. District 46, Danielle Conrad looking to return to the legislature. As you saw, the Herbster camp taking a look at things there. Danielle Conrad right now in District 45 with a lead. James Michael Bowers in second. James Harold is in third. But again, we have some results in from all of the precincts, but we don't have all of the results from any precincts, if that makes sense. And then District 48, we're still waiting on our first votes to come in there in District 48. So that's where things stand state legislature-wise. We are keeping an eye on things. It's sort of a wait-and-see mode for a lot of folks right now around the state of Nebraska. Again, as we sit 8:49, we kind of figured this would be the case, right? We're going to have results come in slowly but surely, and the governor race is the one that everybody is going to want to know about. As we see a few more precincts have come in, and Brett Lindstrom's lead has tightened up a little bit. Lindstrom currently sitting, he was at about 41%, now sitting at about 35%. Jim Pillen in second, about 29% of the vote. Charles Herbster is in third, but that again, just 18 precincts reported, and we only have 572 of the over 1,300 precincts that have even partially reported numbers as of right now. We will keep an eye on things as we regather. We'll try to get some more local results for you in a little bit. Again, folks working hard to make sure these votes are counted correctly and that these results are sent out to you in as timely a fashion as possible. As soon as we get them out, we will pass them along to you. I think that's what we'll do next. We'll take a quick break if we can. When we come back, we will look at some local results, maybe review some things that we've seen so far, and kind of get you caught up on where things stand on a very busy night around the state of Nebraska. You are watching live coverage of the 2022 midterm elections on NCN. Jeff Fox standing by. All he's got to pay attention to is temperatures and stuff like that. Mother Nature winning a lot of folks' votes today. It was gorgeous. Will that continue? Let's head to Chief Meteorologist Jeff Fox for more. Jeff?
Good evening, everybody. We will get you right back to more Nebraska election results in just a moment. I do want to get you set up quickly with the weather. 60s, 70s, 80s to the 90s right now across Nebraska. And in southeast Nebraska, we still have high dew points, very humid air. It's there and nowhere else, and I believe it's leaving now. You're going to see the dew points, the humidity come down continually now into tomorrow and Thursday. But it starts at a high level, so it'll still feel humid for a while. Meanwhile, just about all the clouds we had in the east gone now. We have some high clouds passing over in western Nebraska, and this is going to move in overnight. That is moisture in the form of cloudiness. It's going to help destabilize the atmosphere by tomorrow evening. So tomorrow in northeast Nebraska, I would expect we're going to see at least some scattered showers and thunder showers, and then the chance that we see more coming late on Thursday night and then into the early morning hours of Friday. And I think what we're going to see Thursday night would be more just in the eastern third of the state, and the potential for severe storms looks to be pretty high. That's Thursday night into Friday. Overnight tonight, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Our afternoon highs tomorrow could be a few upper 70s, but mainly 80s and 90s. And again, humidity in southeast Nebraska is already on its way down. 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s coming up on Thursday. And on Friday, because the front will be through, the temperatures will be down, mainly 70s to around 80. All right, I'll keep an eye on the weather, and I'll see you in about an hour. Meanwhile, more election results. Let's get you back to the newsroom and Eric McKay. Eric?
Rediscover the outdoors at Lake Wanahoo NRD Recreation Area. Enjoy disc golf, hiking and biking trails, RV camping, tent camping, and primitive cabins too. There's plenty of time for fishing, no wake boating, kayaking, and enjoying the sights and sounds of nature. It's the perfect weekend getaway. Come join us at Lake Wanahoo, just 30 minutes north of Lincoln.
Tomorrow, some fear the uncertainty it brings. Some trust the promise it holds. At Grinnell Mutual, we are always looking forward to tomorrow, growing and innovating, So even if the plans you have for the future aren't the same as the plans that the future holds for you, you can be ready. Because we'll be ready, like we have been for over 100 years. Trust in that. Trust in tomorrow. Talk to your mutual agent today.
Home is where a new sunrise says, I don't want to wake up anywhere else.
I woke up in the middle of the night, opened my eyes and my oh my, I'm dreaming you. Well, oh, my dreams are sweet.
Life is about waking up to a brand new dream. We're the local bank that's with you, wherever it leads, because we're more than a bank in Nebraska. We're Nebraska in a bank. Pinnacle Bank.
Exciting news from Family Eye Care Center in Grand Island. We are now working together with clinics in Columbus and Norfolk to form Unity Eye Centers. Yes, it's a new name, but what does it mean for you? Joining together allows us to deliver and share state-of-the-art technology and provide a higher level of care for every patient. Best of all, it's still the same owners and you'll see the same welcoming faces. At Unity Eye Centers, we want to continue to be your eye doctor of choice. Come see the difference that quality eye care can deliver.
With so much uncertainty now, one thing you can count on is me.
You can count on me.
You can count on me.
You can count on us to be here for you.
We are here to help you move forward and provide the safest and most secure way for you to access your money. We invite you to stop in person, in Norfolk or in Madison, or visit us online at www.frontbank.com. Frontier Bank, good with money. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Women have a 1 in 8 chance for developing breast cancer. Early detection makes a difference. Beatrice Community Hospital's Imaging Center can help with the latest technology, from screening with 3D mammography, breast MRI, breast ultrasound, and breast biopsy. All services conveniently located in the BCH's Imaging Center. Schedule your screening today. Incredible care, incredibly close.
Welcome back. Election 2022 on News Channel Nebraska. The midterms are underway. Eric McKay here with you. We also have Carolyn Conti here with us. She's kind of keeping an eye on some local races. Results are slowly trickling in. We travel to eastern Nebraska, where, like we have seen in a lot of communities around the state, there is a contested race for mayor. Carolyn, what can you tell us about things in Saunders County right now?
Yes, in Ashland in Saunders County, we have a tight mayoral race. Bruce A. Wishman with 18 votes, Jim Anderson falling closely behind with 16, and Amanda Rowe not too far behind them with 11. If you'll notice, all of those 46 votes, though, were early voting votes, which does mark something that may be a bit different than years past. We have seen an increase in early voting. Back to you, Eric.
All right. Thank you, Carolyn. And looking at another county that has a mayoral race, Butler County, the mayor of David City is up for grabs. There will be one person eliminated in that race right now. Very early again, Jessica Miller with a fairly wide advantage, 49 votes for her, 12 for James Sylvester, 3 for Raymond Burt. The top 2 move on to the general in November. Numbers keep coming in for the gubernatorial race. Brett Lindstrom still with the lead on the Republican side, but it is slimming a bit as now we have 27 precincts that are in. Results are starting to come in from western Nebraska. Right now, Lindstrom's lead over Jim Pillen is sitting at about 5,200. He is about 9,400 clear of Herbster in third. Teresa Thibodeau currently sitting in fourth. Herbster's former running mate, actually, sitting in fourth right now, and we hope to be hearing from her camp shortly as well. But right now, Brett Lindstrom in charge of things on the Republican side. We'll see if that continues as the results come in. Regardless of who wins tonight, it will be very interesting to see how the Republican Party regroups after what has been a campaign filled with the most vitriol perhaps in the state of Nebraska's history. It has gotten downright nasty. The guy who's going to be in charge of game planning things going forward for whoever the winner is tonight is Taylor Gage, and he is standing by in Lincoln with Brandon Axeman with more. Brandon?
Well, thank you, Eric. Brandon Axmit here alongside the leader of the Nebraska Republican Party, Taylor Gage, at the Embassy Suites. A little bit different of a vibe maybe for you than normally on election night, but first off, how are you doing? How are you feeling on this primary day?
Yeah, well, thanks, Brandon. It's a great night for Republicans. We are part of what is shaping up to be a historic red wave, and Republicans across the state of Nebraska have gone to the polls today to nominate the future leaders of Nebraska. The party in Nebraska has never been in stronger shape, and we're really excited to kind of see what the election results are tonight so we can get behind our nominees and elect our conservative leadership in November.
Well, and for tonight specifically, a lot of places you could have been, but you're here at the Embassy. What brought you here around the 8 o'clock hour?
Well, I'm making the rounds to congratulate the different winners, and one of those parties was here, and I'll be headed out to some others as the night continues.
Obviously, the governor's race, well documented, a lot at stake tonight, and it's been contentious, and some might even say ugly between some of the candidates. So after tonight's all said and done, the dust settles, what's the future for the Republican Party?
Well, we've been no stranger to contentious primaries in Nebraska. In fact, I think primaries can be really healthy for our party. It brings in new voters, new volunteers, and really helps to bring in a new generation of Republicans. And so what my hope is going forward is that we can come together around our nominees and help elect Republicans in November and beat Democrats.
And obviously the governor's race, the big thing tonight, but down ballot racing. How do you feel the Republican Party is poised when you look at other elections?
Well, Brandon, we really have a historic opportunity with this red wave to wipe out Democrats that have held local offices. And that's one thing we're really seeing a lot of with the party is people are taking the time to educate themselves, not just about the top of the ticket races, but also those county level races, the local school board races. You've seen a lot of energy around these nationwide, and we're seeing the same thing here in Nebraska. And I think we're going to see some really great results for conservatives in November.
Well, and lastly, there's been certain, historically nonpartisan races that have been prioritized by some of the Republican county leaders in this state. And so when you look at those types of things, how do you feel the state and the Republican Party feels about that focus, and what was sort of the strategy behind it this election?
Yeah, even in these nonpartisan races, most of these candidates are involved in a political party. And for us across the state, we have a lot of Republicans that hold these offices, and we back them in the races, whether they're partisan or nonpartisan races, because we want conservative leadership at every level of government.
Well, Taylor, very much appreciate the time, and enjoy the rest of the night.
Thanks, Brandon.
That's Taylor Gage, the Executive Director of the Republican Party for the state of Nebraska. We'll have more here from the Embassy Suites in downtown Lincoln. Eric, back to you in Norfolk.
All right, thank you, Brandon. We have just now reached the top of the hour. In fact, we're a couple of minutes past. It is 9:02 Central Time, 8:02 Mountain. Polls have closed and votes are coming in. The top story as we take a look at things around the state, Brett Lindstrom, their camp has been watching and liking what they've seen so far. There you see a live look at the Lindstrom camp as they sit currently in the lead. Brent Lindstrom over the first candidate to get to 30,000 votes. He sits just over 30,000, 35% of the vote. The Herbster camp is a camp in Lincoln that is seeing some gains being made as we see more votes come in from out west. There you see some Herbster followers hoping to see their candidate get the Republican nominee this evening. Still sitting in third overall, just shy of 21,000 votes, about 25% of the votes that have come in. Jim Pillen, meanwhile, sitting in second. Pillen with 25,000 votes, over 25,000, sitting at about just shy of 30% of the votes that have been tallied so far. Teresa Thibodeau is sitting in fourth place. Only 40 precincts have reported unofficial results right now. We have partial results from over 600 different precincts around the state of Nebraska. And again, it is Brett Lindstrom, as you see there, sitting on top. We go county level, though, because again, as Joe Jordan mentioned, this is where things are going to be very, very interesting to see who votes for who. Adams County right now, and it's very early in Adams County, but that is breaking for Pillen. He has a slight lead over Lindstrom there. You see Antelope County. Very early results in Herbster, a slight edge over Pillen. Lindstrom sitting in third in Antelope County. You go further down in the state. into Buffalo County, out west, out by Kearney. That's currently going for Pillen very early on, with Herbster in second and Lindstrom in third. Burt County in northeast Nebraska, that's going for Lindstrom so far. Pillen in second, Herbster in third. Butler County, eastern Nebraska, Jim Pillen with a slight edge over Lindstrom. That's really near to where Pillen's hometown is. He's in Platte County in Columbus, which is just north of Butler County. He's currently leading Lindstrom in second. Herbster is in third there. Chase County out west. These are the western counties. These are the ones that the Herbster camp thinks they're really going to gain some ground. Early on in Chase County, though, Jim Pillen dominating things in the early going with 58 votes. Lindstrom in second, Herbster in third there. Cherry County, that is a Herbster county. Up there in north central Nebraska, that would be Valentine, Nebraska, Cody, Nebraska, and a whole bunch of sandhills. Over 1,000 votes for Charles Herbster right now. He is dominating that county. In fact, that is official. Herbster has won Cherry County. I should say unofficial. All the precincts have been counted in Cherry County, and Charles Herbster carried Cherry County in dominant fashion, a 2-to-1 margin almost over Jim Pillen in second, Brett Lindstrom a distant third in Cherry County. As we move farther down, Clay County, that's a Pillen county. You see Colfax County, so far breaking for Pillen. Cumming County, a dead heat between Lindstrom and Pillen. Dakota County in northeast Nebraska, breaking for Pillen. You've got Herbster with the lead early on in Dawes County. These county by county results, the devil is in the details. You can look at the main results, but it's going to be county by county. Who wins the larger populated counties? Who wins Hall County? Who wins Lancaster County? Who wins Douglas County? And is there one candidate that's able to galvanize rural Nebraska and take over things? Is Herbster going to see more gains like you saw in Cherry County and many of those other western counties, which would allow him to break into this lead a little bit? Brett Lindstrom right now still sitting with the overall lead with 40 precincts officially reporting. We have Jim Pillen in second, Charles Herbster in third, but this is far, far from over. We also have Carolyn Conti standing by. She's been keeping an eye on some of the local results for us. Carolyn, what can you tell us in terms of local results? A lot of mayoral races around the state this evening. What do you have?
Yes, speaking of mayoral races, if we look at Crofton, we've got Robert Evans in the lead with 135 votes, Murphy following with 108, and Layla Lawhead with 75. And we've got a few other ballot issues: economic development being popular in Creighton, sales tax actually not being popular in Creighton, unlike what we saw in other counties. However, we're going to keep an eye on these elections as more results come in. We're still in those early hours. All of this is still unofficial.
Yeah, very much up in the air. Thank you, Carolyn. And one race we're keeping an eye on, Pierce County has the mayoral race for Plainview. They have counted 22 votes in that race so far, 14 of them going for Bob Smith, 5 for Brian J. Schlode, Curtis Brand sitting in third. Again, that's a race where 2 of those 3 will move on. There are a lot of those contested mayoral races. It feels like more than you normally have in a midterm, but you heard Taylor Gage mention there has been increased interest in these local races, and as Carolyn pointed out earlier this evening in her great report, that there has been increased partisanship at these local levels. Taylor Gage called it the red wave, wanting to see more conservative Republicans in local school boards, city councils, races like that. And I think that is part of what has driven so many more candidates and so many more of these contested races. One thing we do know is that Carol Blood will be the Democratic candidate for governor. She is running away with things in there. A quick check on the congressional races. Not a lot of drama there this evening. District 1 going overwhelmingly for Mike Flood right now, sitting with 75% of the vote. The Democratic side of things looks like it's going to be Patty Pansing Brooks with 17,000 votes right now, a basically 9-to-1 margin over Jazari Qual Zakaria. District 2, the incumbent Don Bacon doing very well over Steve Keel, despite the fact that President Donald Trump, when he came and spoke on behalf of Charles Herbster a couple of weeks ago, was very critical of Don Bacon and urging the voters of District 2 to vote Don Bacon out. Doesn't look like that's going to happen if this holds up. Democratic side of things in District 2, Tony Vargas running away with things over Alicia Shelton. That will be a very interesting race. Tony Vargas, a well-known name, former state senator, current state senator, I should say, will be a former state senator out of Omaha that will be, it appears, running against Don Bacon. Adrian Smith comfortably in the lead to once again be the Republican nominee in District 3. There is a competitive Democratic race. David Elsey and Daniel Wick right now very close, separated by fewer than 100 votes right now, with things sitting very early on to see who will challenge Adrian Smith in the vast 3rd District of the U.S. House of Representatives. We have reporters branched out all over the state of Nebraska. Among them, our own Jake Bartecki. He has been standing by with the Lindstrom camp all night. They have had the lead since the get-go. It's been slimming a bit, though, as we see more of these rural districts come in. We take you now live to Lincoln as Jake Bartecki gets set up down there. As soon as we get him ready, we will send it to him. Jake, what can you tell us about what you are hearing down in Lincoln?
Yeah, thank you, Eric. I am here, as you said, in Omaha at the Brett Lindstrom camp. Lindstrom's lead has fallen a good bit. I mean, it's fallen below 40% for the first time tonight. He had a dominating start. Obviously, a lot of those votes counted out east in the metro area, where he was expected to do really well. If you were a Lindstrom supporter, you're probably still generally pretty happy, as are the about 200, 300 people behind me. A lot of people have come in after the votes started getting counted. They've come in and just filtered in and out, gotten food, gotten drinks. There is still that sense of anxiety, but a lot of people are really happy with where they are. They're smiling, they're enjoying themselves, laughing, enjoying the evening. And, you know, Lindstrom's got still the lead by about 8%. So he's in a good spot right now, and people are enjoying that, and they're recognizing it. Again, they've still got to count those votes out west in the central part of the state still. But Lindstrom had to do well in the metro area in the eastern part of the state. He's done that, and that's why he's out front.
All right, thank you very much. That's Jake Bartecki in with the Lindstrom camp in Lincoln this evening. And the Lindstrom camp, as he said, folks are enjoying themselves right now, but maybe getting a little bit more nervous as Lindstrom's lead now has slimmed once again. He's now down fewer than 34% of the vote. Over 31,000 votes. Jim Pillen now has really closed the gap. Pillen currently sitting in second, about 3,000 shy. Herbster sitting about 8,000 shy of Lindstrom there in third. And you see Teresa Thibodeau sitting in fourth place. Local issues on ballots all over the state in northeast Nebraska. A town trying to establish maybe some Keno funds, get some economic development dollars up in northern and northeast Nebraska. Carolyn Conti standing by with more details on that race. Carolyn.
Thank you, Eric. Again, back to Knox County in Verdigris. We want to take a look at their lottery votes. We're seeing the majority actually are for the lottery with 148 votes, 52 against, though. The majority has the argument of it improving the economy. That money could go toward economic development. Of course, some people just are not for lottery and find it not moral. But we'll keep an eye on that, see if that changes at all throughout the night, and keep an eye on these local elections as we look at the bigger picture, too, of the state primary.
Thank you, Carolyn. And yeah, we'll be diving into Cherry County results as well. That's one of the first ones where we know all the precincts are in and have been counted. We know that Cherry County has gone overwhelmingly for Charles Herbster in the gubernatorial race. Again, that's the county, north central part of the state, the largest county in terms of area in the state. Valentine, the county seat there, but a lot of ranchers out in that area. That's Senator Deb Fisher, obviously from Cherry County as well. So that going overwhelmingly for Charles Herbster out there. We'll see. That's one of the more heavily populated of those rural western counties. We'll see if that's a trend that continues as the night goes on. As I mentioned, you know, we have Cherry County results coming in. We have statewide results coming in. We have legislative results that continue to come in around the state. I'm going to stay in northeast Nebraska. Carolyn just talking about Knox County. That is one of the many counties represented by District 40. And as we zoom down to District 40, where there are four running for the seat there, right now, Barry DeKay starting to run away with things. This was close early on. Again, DeKay has been endorsed by Tim Greger, the current state senator out of District 40, who has decided he's not going to run again. The man he defeated last time for this race in 2018, Keith Kuby sitting in second, Mark Patterfield, Robert Johnston. Those are the two that are looking to gain ground, try to overtake either Kuby or Decay, get that second place spot, which would get them on to the general election. Another race that will be interesting to keep an eye on after tonight, District 42, Mike Jacobson is a Ricketts appointee. He has the lead right now. Chris Burns is running there. Brenda Fortner, the third candidate, not a good start there. We'll see if she's able to gain votes as the night goes on. You also have District 46. This was Adam Moorfeld's old seat. Danielle Conrad, former state senator, held that seat before Moorfeld, trying to come back in, has the lead early on. Very, very early results here in that densely populated district. James Bowers is currently second. James Harold is sitting in third. But again, the main story tonight, and we'll go back to it as results continue to come in on the statewide scene, is for governor. Only 50 precincts are in. About 20% of those have come from Cherry County. Brett Lindstrom currently holding an edge, but it has slimmed since the early going. He was sitting about an hour ago with about 41% of the vote on the Republican side. That has slimmed to 33.9. Jim Pillen sitting in second. Charles Herbster sitting in third at 23,000. Pillen has seen some pretty big gains as we've started to see more results come in from around central Nebraska. As we bring up the map around the state, there's Cherry County. As we said, that was a pro-Herbster county. Coming in with 51% of the vote there. Pillen finished in second in Cherry County. Looking at some of these other western Nebraska counties, there's Herbster carrying things in Thomas County with Pillen in second. McPherson County, Herbster and Pillen, 1-2 there. Let's go to Garden County, where you see Herbster and Pillen again sitting 1-2. Herbster and Pillen 1-2 in Morrill County, and Brett Lindstrom not getting much by way of votes out there at all. There are some Pillen counties out west. Grant County right now for Pillen so far. Hooker County so far breaking for Pillen, but that is very, very close. Pillen also carrying things in Logan County down in south central Nebraska. You see Harlan County going for Pillen so far, as has Clay County, Merritt County, Boone County, and again, this part of the state, you know, as we bring up Platte County, we don't have any results from Platte County yet. Pillen's expected to carry this part of the state pretty well. That is Pillen country. He is a resident of Columbus. He has a hog farm in Platte County. Folks know him well out there, so not a surprise to see him carrying counties like Boone County, Merritt County. We look at Polk County, things going for Pillen so far. Up in Knox County, that's a Pillen county as well. Pillen and Herbster carrying things there. So these are the counties that have officially, you know, as we look at the Pillen and Herbster, they've won counties. So far, we've not seen Brett Lindstrom win any counties. He has the lead in a lot of them, although Lancaster County, you see Lindstrom with a pretty heavy lead there. Pillen starting to close the gap there. Douglas County, Lindstrom with a wide margin there, 42% of the vote. Pillen currently sitting in second. But as you look at the statewide totals down here, Lindstrom and Pillen now very, very close, separated by less than 2%. Herbster has moved his way up to third. And again, we're seeing that margin slim because as these county results become unofficial and those precincts get counted, you're seeing more and more of these counties go for Pillen and for Herbster. So it'll be interesting to see if that continues as the night goes on. Still waiting on some of the northeast Nebraska counties to come in. We have not seen anything out of Madison County yet. As we take a live look now at the Herbster campaign headquarters this evening in Lincoln, seeing gains come in from out much farther west than where they're sitting right now in Lincoln. But they're happy to see Herbster making gains there. Still in third place, still with some ground to cover. But right now, things are looking better for the other two candidates than they were early on. Carolyn Conti has also been helping us out with results. She can give you a kind of a deeper dive into how things stand. Carolyn, what have you got?
Thank you, Eric. I just want to talk about a few things in the news recently that have been happening with these candidates. Brett Lindstrom, for example, came to Norfolk a couple of weeks ago at a round table, and he pointed out to NCN that he would like to see Nebraska's highways paid for by a bond issue. His opponents not disagreeing too far. We also had Carol Blood speaking with NCN, talking about affordable housing being something that she wants to prioritize. She mentioned that she would like to see some innovative practices to address it, such as changing building codes and zoning laws. Herbster, we know, has been in the news for the allegations that women have been making, 8 specific women, including State Senator Julie Slama, against him, saying that he committed some sexual assaults upon them. Pillen in the news for his endorsements from Governor Pete Ricketts and his former coach, Tom Osborne. So we've got a lot of interesting stories about all of these 12 candidates for governor on our website. That's newschannelnebraska.com.
All right, thank you, Carolyn. Yeah, and head to newschannelnebraska.com. We've got folks all over the state that are keeping an eye on a lot of those local races. Of course, we got Dan Swanson, Doug Kennedy keeping an eye on things down in southeast Nebraska. We got folks out in central Nebraska keeping an eye on things for us. Sarah McCoy is out in the Panhandle. So we've got our reporters. They're out. They're keeping an eye on things. Head to our website. If you don't hear the results maybe for your local area, we'll have them there as well. Over the course of this gubernatorial race, things have been, let's face it, nasty. There has been vitriol, and there's been a lot of it. There have been, as Carolyn mentioned, sexual assault allegations. There have been conspiracy allegations. There have been a lot of allegations. And one person who has not been shy about voicing his opinion as to who should be the next governor is the current governor, Pete Ricketts. He has thrown his support vehemently behind Jim Pillen. And one of the things that we have not heard from Ricketts is if Charles Herbster were to win tonight, would he support him in the race for governor going forward? Pete Ricketts will be joining us live on NCN exclusively. You're only going to hear from him here. Brandon Axelman will have Pete Ricketts. He will get his thoughts on how things are going tonight, how he thinks things should be going in Nebraska going forward. And as you might imagine, Pete Ricketts will not be mincing words. That is coming up later on this evening on News Channel Nebraska. Exclusively hear from the governor, Pete Ricketts, on how things are going here on election night. The governor's the main event. A lot of the other races going forward, there are some close races we're keeping an eye on. We'll get you those. We'll try to get you more local results as they trickle in as well. Stay with us. We've got your AccuWeather forecast on the way. Much more to come. You're watching live coverage of the midterm elections on News Channel Nebraska.
Searching for your next vehicle? Shop Woodhouse first. Over 1,000 pre-owned vehicles in stock and on our lots, with new trades arriving daily that you can explore on woodhouse.com. Plus, confidence comes standard when you purchase a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV from Woodhouse. With our multi-point inspection, transparent pricing, available add-on warranties, and financing options, purchasing a pre-owned vehicle has never been simpler. Experience the difference and drive away today confident and road-ready in your new vehicle from Woodhouse.
At Platte Valley Bank, we want to help you take advantage of every adventure. We know you have plans, goals, and dreams. Let us help you with them. Whether you are just starting the business you have always imagined or looking to grow your existing one, we have a business loan to fit your needs. Stop in and see us at Platte Valley Bank and let us help make your dreams a reality. You belong here. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The hanging baskets are ready, the flowers are waiting for your planters, and the veggies can't wait to dig in. This is Sheila. Now is a great time to bring in your planters to fill with gorgeous flowers or pick up your hanging baskets and garden plants. The gift shop is filled with wonderful gifts for upcoming weddings and showers, plus baptism, first communion, and confirmation gifts. Think Sheila's this spring and have a beautiful season. Sheila's Country Gardens and Gift Shop, located 3 miles south of Hardington.
From its beginning as Grand Island's smallest bank in 1971, 5 Points Bank has grown over the past 50 years into Nebraska's 5th largest bank holding company.
They were going to have people's hours, not bankers' hours. They were going to, take phone calls after 6 p.m. They really felt a connection to their customers.
Likewise, generations of customers around the state have found a home at 5 Points Bank.
My name is Jody Benson. I enrolled in the RateWise Time of Use program because I decided I needed to be more mindful, knowing that early morning, late nights were the smartest times to use our wash machine, our dishwasher. You can go onto their website, mppd.com. You can call 877-ASK-MPPD, and someone will be there to visit with you and answer your questions. Not only have they been helpful and informative, but making me feel like I'm a part of their team.
All right, did you know I was the Mommy Slam Dunk Champion?
Really?
Yes, really, don't sound so surprised.
Let's see it.
Oh, you're ready. All right, here we go. Let's hear the crowd. So go to right, go to left, fake 'em out. Mama, go up, up, up.
She did it.
Again? You can't avoid gravity, but United Healthcare can help you avoid financial surprises by helping you compare costs and doctor quality ratings. United Healthcare.
Uh-huh. All right, we will get you right back to election results in just a moment. I do want to show you what's going on with weather tonight across Nebraska. 60s, 70s, and 80s right now across the state. We've had a very warm day and summer-like dew points in southeast Nebraska. We have seen the peak of those numbers, and I do believe for you, over the next day and a half, the dew point will come down. But it's going to take a while, and you're going to be humid for a while. We have mainly clear skies over the state right now, but you can see some clouds starting to nose up from the south, and I think that they are going to nose up into Nebraska overnight tonight, and by tomorrow evening probably produce some scattered thunder, especially in northeast Nebraska, and then a little bit more in the late night, overnight hours through portions of central Nebraska. And then another line forms Thursday night. I think that could produce some severe weather in eastern Nebraska. So a whole lot going on here over the next day or so. 40s, 50s, 60s overnight tonight, tomorrow. Some upper 70s, but mainly 80s and 90s. And again, I expect the humidity to be down a little bit tomorrow and down a little bit more on Thursday in eastern Nebraska where it has been up. 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s on Thursday. And then the front comes through, which gives us a chance of severe weather Thursday night, and that leaves us 70s to around 80 on Friday. All right, I'll see you at the top of the hour, joined by Carolyn, who has all of Nebraska's news from today. Meanwhile, let's get you back for more election coverage. Here's Eric McKay.
Your decision has been made, and we're just tallying up the votes right now to see who will be candidates for many state and local elections going forward. The main event, as we've been saying all night, has been the Republican nomination for governor. Brett Lindstrom's lead is slimming, down to less than 2% over Jim Pillen in second. Charles Herbster starting to gain counties out west. He is sitting in third place as well. That Herbster camp is where our Joe Jordan has been standing by. He has been all over this Herbster campaign since it very began, and he's all over it right now. Joe, what's the latest from the Herbster camp right now?
Well, Eric, it appears that about half the vote in the GOP race for governor is in, 50% of the vote in, 50% still to be counted. And here at Herbster headquarters in Lincoln, the belief is that this is going pretty much as they had tracked it. The belief that early on, State Senator Brett Lindstrom would have a lead due to some mail-in votes and people that switched parties to Democrats and independents switching parties to vote for him. And that as the night wore on, Mr. Herbster would gain votes as the western part of the state comes in, and in the end, this is going to be a Pillen-Herbster fight, and that Lindstrom would fall to the side. Hasn't happened that way just yet. As you know, by looking at the numbers, Herbster is still 4 or 5 points behind Mr. Pillen, and Lindstrom still leads. But lurking in the background of all of this, of course, is the what if. What if Charles Herbster, in the end, does win? What does that do to Nebraska's Republican Party, with Governor Ricketts having spent the past several months, maybe a good year now, demeaning demeaning Charles Herbster wherever he could in the last 48 hours of the campaign, claiming that Charles Herbster is weird when it comes to this beauty pageant situation. So again, it's the what if. If Mr. Pillen wins, the party moves forward because he obviously is the Ricketts-backed candidate. But if Mr. Herbster wins, there's no love lost between Governor Ricketts and Mr. Herbster, and hard to believe that they can put that Humpty Dumpty back together again. Eric?
Yeah, thank you, Joe. It's going to be very interesting to see what the Republican Party's game plan is going forward. Although, as Taylor Gage said earlier this evening, it is not a new thing to have competitive races around the state. This has been unique, the one in Nebraska. It has gained some national attention, certainly throughout the year. And boy, as we look at the Republican race for governor right now, the latest results, we've got 108 precincts in. As Joe said, we're about halfway done, probably, with the votes that have been counted. Brett Lindstrom still in the lead. It is now down to less than 1%. He has about a 500 vote edge over Jim Pillen. Charles Herbster starting to gain ground as well, as he sits just shy of 28,000 votes, about 26% of the vote right now. Sitting in fourth place is Herbster's former running mate, Teresa Thibodeau. She made a run for governor as well. She's sitting in a distant fourth, has a lot of ground to make up, but she is standing by with our Jeremy Skiba. Teresa Thibodeau in Norfolk, watching the results come in this evening. We've got Jeremy Skiba standing by there in Norfolk with Teresa Thibodeau. Jeremy, take it away.
Thanks, Eric. Now I'm joined by Teresa Thibodeau. Teresa, great turnout here tonight, great atmosphere. How are you feeling about your chances tonight?
It's a wonderful atmosphere. There's lots of excitement, and we are very optimistic. We keep hearing over and over throughout the last 10 days, and even today, just hundreds and hundreds of people reaching out to us, wishing us well wishes and saying that we have earned their vote.
And Teresa, this is the only election party in Northeast Nebraska in the gubernatorial race. Why'd you choose Norfolk?
I chose it for a few reasons. The first one is Norfolk has done such a wonderful job of recognizing where their needs were as a small town and addressing those and ensuring that both public and private work together to grow their community. And they're just a great example of when community comes together, great things can happen. And we've had a tremendous amount of support here in Norfolk. In fact, this would be my fourth week in a row back here, and I thought it would be great to tell those supporters and volunteers thank you and host our event here this evening.
In your own words, why do you think you're the best choice in the gubernatorial race?
I am the person that has stayed out of the weeds, ran a clean campaign. However, I have the real ideas and the in-depth knowledge of the issues facing Nebraskans because I am the candidate who has been out all over the state listening to people to ensure that I know what opportunities they're looking for to prosper, and as their governor, I will be their voice in Lincoln so that together Nebraska can move forward.
At one point on the campaign trail, you were Charles Herbster's pick for lieutenant governor, but you decided to step away, and now here we are. You're on your own journey. Why'd you make that decision?
And yes, here we are, and I've stated it before, there was just a lot of chaos and disorganization to the campaign, and I felt not a real genuine, knowledge of in-depth issues for Nebraska and talking about a lot of national issues in which the governor can only have influence on, cannot change, and not really speaking and listening to everyday Nebraskans.
And lastly, Teresa, if you're not the nominee by the end of the night, will you make an endorsement?
We will have to see what this night brings.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Eric, back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Jeremy. Right now, Thibodeau sitting in a distant fourth. Pillen is coming. He is now only about 160 votes or so, about 200 votes shy of Brett Lindstrom, whose lead is fading in the race. Herbster in third now, sitting about 6,000 votes shy of Brett Lindstrom. We will keep an eye on that. We're going to keep an eye on things locally as well. Carolyn Conti's been keeping an eye on some things in Northeast Nebraska. Carolyn, what do you have?
Thank you, Eric. Let's check in on Plainview. We have a few more numbers to update you here on. Brian Schlody with 5 votes, Bob Smith with 14, Curtis Brand with 3 in the bottom of that race so far. Fun fact, Bob Smith actually owns Four Corners Country Store in Plainview. You can check out antiques, and maybe that's how he got his name out in the community and became in the lead there. And then we also have some numbers with Plainview's City Council. I do want to bring your attention again to the fact that all these numbers so far are still just from the early voting, which, as we talked about earlier, seems to be a trend in this year's primary.
That it was, Carolyn, and it was actually something that came up in the race for secretary for state, although Bob Evnen holding a large lead over his challenger there. Brandon Axman is standing by with the governor. We will get to that shortly. I wanted to stick with local results. We talked about the boom in local candidates. Let's go to Cherry County. Gordon Rushville School Board, 3 open spots, 12 people ran for seats in Gordon Rushville, and folks, keep an extra prayer in your prayers tonight for County Clerk Brittany Peterson. She probably has a recount on her hands. The unofficial results right now, Jim Gantz, Cassie Craven, Kerry Child, Seth Tansen, Tyler Banks, all moving on. 43, 42, 41, 38, and 34 votes respectively. There is a tie for 6th right now between Kathleen Wilnard and Amy Leffler with 27 votes each. Again, 12 people ran for the school board in Gordon Rushville out in Cherry County. Likely going to be a recount there. Pete Ricketts has joined us. Brandon Axman is standing by with him. You know, the governor has been very pointed about who he thinks should be winning, who he thinks should be the governor going forward. Brandon Axman standing by with the governor.
Well, Eric, thank you. Here with Governor Pete Ricketts at the Embassy Suites outside of Jim Pillen's election party, where, Governor, you're in a different position when you normally are on election night. How does that feel, first off, and how are you feeling entering tonight?
Well, I'm feeling really good about Jim Pillen's campaign. We were doing a fly around yesterday. We got great support, especially in Columbus. And so I'm anxious to see how Jim does, but I'm confident we're going to win.
And you made it clear very early on that Jim Pillen is who you're endorsing, and can I ask why?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Jim is from Nebraska. He grew his business here in Nebraska, in Columbus, creating over 1,000 Nebraska jobs. He's a true Christian conservative, and that's in contrast to the main rivals he's got. Charles Herbster put his business in Missouri. He really hasn't been around Nebraska until he decided he wanted to run for governor. And Brett Lindstrom, I've worked with him in the legislature, but he's a liberal. He's got a lot of bad votes. And so the best person to run our state is going to be Jim Pillen.
Well, and the fact that you referenced Herbster, obviously you made the comment that you're not behind him, but if he was to win the governor's race, I know it's a hypothetical, would you endorse him at that point?
Well, he's got to resolve these allegations of sexual misconduct before I could get behind Charles Herbster.
And same thing for Lindstrom. Should he win, how would you feel about that, and would you endorse him?
Well, with regard to Brett, I think he's got a lot of bad votes. I think Brett's a liberal, but if he were to be the nominee, I would support him.
Well, and if Pillen wins, which I know that's what you're hoping, how do you feel, how important is it, rather, for the Republican Party to rally behind him?
Well, I think Jim is the man who's going to build on the foundation that we've established in my administration and take it to the next level. He's got the business experience to continue to run government like a business, and that's what has made us successful, and that's what we want to see continue to happen.
Lastly, Republican Party as a whole, you're on your way up, but how do you feel in Nebraska specifically we're sitting?
Well, I think especially now, you look at all the crazy coming out of the Biden administration in D.C., what I see is independents and Republicans who have never been involved in politics are coming out because they're frustrated by what they see. And it's not just in D.C., it's with the State Board of Education and their crazy sex education standards they wanted to push on Nebraska parents. People are getting involved and they're coming to the Republican Party. We saw that in voter registration, and that's a great thing for the Republican Party.
Governor Ricketts, appreciate the time tonight.
Great, thank you very much.
That is Governor Pete Ricketts here on News Channel Nebraska. I'm Brandon Axman. Eric, we'll send it back to you in Norfolk.
Thank you, Brandon. There you go. The governor softening his stance a little bit on Herbster, saying that he's got to take care of what he's got to take care of before the governor and maybe other members of the Republican Party can throw their support behind them. Right now, the man that the governor has thrown his support behind has taken the lead. As we sit with about 122 precincts reporting, Jim Pillen right now sitting with 35,000 votes. Brett Lindstrom now in second. Again, those early results came in kind of Douglas, Lancaster County. Now we're seeing other votes come in. And Pillen taking the lead. Herbster is in third, still sitting at about 26%. He's kind of been stuck at 26%, has not really gained a ton, is right now about 6,000 votes, just shy of 6,000 votes behind Pillen in third place. Of course, the winner will move on to face Carol Blood, as you can see on your screen there. Secretary of State looks like Bob Evnen. His lead appears to be pretty safe. Rex Schroeder and Robert Bohr are both very vocal in opposing Bob Evnen. But Evnen right now with a pretty strong lead there, as we said, about half of the votes around the state reported. State Treasurer John Moranti has seen his lead slim a bit, but still sitting pretty well ahead of Paul Anderson with just shy of 60% of the vote. Looks like Mike Hilger is moving on for Attorney General, the Republican race there. Mike Foley doing very well in the state auditor race as well statewide. But boy, that gubernatorial race, things are changing quickly there. Jim Pillen right now with the lead over Brett Lindstrom, and we'll be monitoring that. We'll see if Herbster can make any gains as more votes come in from out west. Keeping an eye on things locally as well in northeast Nebraska, the far northeast reaches of Nebraska, in fact, almost Iowa. A contested race for county sheriff. Carolyn Conti has more on that. Carolyn?
Thank you, Eric. We're looking at the Republican county sheriff race here, and we're seeing that Chris Kleinberg is winning with 64%. His opponent, Kevin Ronde, with only 35% of the vote so far. Again, these are still preliminary results. And I want to scroll up a little bit and look at their county commissioner. It looks like Martin Honstein might be taking that race home with 41% so far, nearly double the amount of votes there. Of course, we'll be keeping an eye on these and all local elections. Stay tuned on News Channel Nebraska.
We will do that as we sit 9:40 Central Time, 8:40 Mountain. We've got about 20 minutes left in our coverage here on News Channel Nebraska. I want to take a look at some other statewide races. Specifically, I'd like to take a look at NRDs, Lower Elkhorn Natural Resources District. Many others around the state of Nebraska have been seeing a lot of contested races. NRDs are starting to see much more interest from candidates around the state. The issue of water has been a very big issue of late, and folks are paying attention to that. So looking at some of the NRD results from around the state, you look at like Lower Big Blue. These are nonpartisan races, by the way, so one person gets eliminated. You look at Lower Big Blue. This is Subdistrict 2. You've got Chad Weichel, James Hahn in the lead. Heidi McClintock is sitting in third, but that's still early. There could be much more to come there, so that one is close. Lower Elkhorn Natural Resources District, Subdistrict 6. Mark Bernheide with a big lead. Chuck Hammernick in second. David Gustin with some work to do, currently sitting in third place. Lower Platte, you see Gary Hellerick, Jim Schultz out in front of David Kendall. Look at the Upper Big Blue at-large seat. You have just all kinds of folks running here, and this is close. Eugene Ulmer right now in first. Teresa Oddie is in second. Becky Rosler in third. Curtis Farrell in fourth. Jacob Erickson is in fifth there. Staying in the Upper Big Blue, Subdistrict 7. You're going to get two moving on from this right now. That would be Rhonda Rich and Anthony Bohati. Wayne Nestor sitting in third. And Upper Republican at large. Right now, Brock Stromberger with a pretty strong lead. Brad Dixon and Stephen Grams are sitting behind in second and third, respectively. Public Service Commission has been a race. There have been some races that have been very interesting in terms of how public they've been. Public Service Commission, Eric Kamler, the current mayor of the city of Geneva, the village of Geneva, currently sitting with a lead over Rod Johnson in District 4. Kamler with 58% of the vote. Rod Johnson just shy of 42% of the vote. You've got about probably 50% of the votes counted there. You have a bit less of the votes counted. Again, these are partisan races, so only one person moves on. Kevin Stocker, a very, very slim lead over Mary Ritter. Dakota Delka sitting in third place. That is in District 5. And as far as counties, that's out west, right? Arthur County. You got Banner County. So we still don't have anything out of Arthur, nothing out of Box Butte. Of course, you won't get anything out of a few of these counties for a while, but some of these, this is a giant district out west. Still a lot to be decided in that race as the countywide results start to come in there. Well, it's been 30 seconds. I'm sure the governor's changed. Pillen widening his lead right now up to 32% of the vote. Lindstrom sitting in second. Herbster gaining votes, but again, he's been sort of stuck around that 26% mark in third place, unable to gain on the leaders right now as we speak. But Pillen really making a charge. We'll take another look very quickly at the map, and you can see again, Lindstrom has not taken any counties as of yet. He has leads in Lancaster and Douglas, but these green counties right here, these are Herbster counties. The blue counties are Pillen counties. And we see Pillen doing well sort of in the eastern third of the state. Herbster and Pillen kind of battling it out in the central and western portions of the state right now. And you have Pillen out in front, 32%. Lindstrom in second with about 30%. Herbster sitting in third with about 26% of the vote. And there you see the Herbster camp. We're still waiting and still watching the results, still trying to see how things are going to look out there and see if they're able to gain the votes that they need to gain and win this Republican nomination. And, if they don't win the Republican nomination, what's the message going forward out of the Herbster camp? Remember, Herbster had an event in Ashland attended by Donald Trump and by people who claimed at that rally that in the 2020 election, there were votes that vanished in eastern Nebraska. Herbster has been at events in Nebraska saying the 2020 election was rigged. If he doesn't win tonight, does he accept that going forward? What do we hear out of the Herbster camp if things stay close? It's going to be very interesting to watch as these results continue to come in. We've got another look at your forecast. We've got one more look at results. We'll be on until the top of the hour, bringing you live election coverage. Stay with us. You're watching Midterm Election 2022 on News Channel Nebraska.
Here's to welcoming moments, big and small. At Avera, our nationally recognized health system will be right here with you, with care and coverage. Partner with Avera for more hellos, more hugs, more memories. We'll move you forward through sickness and health, and every milestone in between. Hello possibility, hello healthy, hello life. Avera, moving health forward.
Today's busy work schedules can make it really hard to find the right vehicle. At Zollner Ford, we're here to make it easy. With an extensive selection of vehicles and new inventory arriving daily, we've got all your needs covered. Come find a vehicle to match your lifestyle. With the convenience of online inventory and scheduling, our award-winning sales and service departments are committed to making your experience one to remember. When it's time to buy your next new car, make life easy at Zollner Ford.
Here's to welcoming moments, big and small. At Avera, our nationally recognized health system will be right here with you, with care and coverage. Partner with Avera for more hellos, more hugs, more memories. We'll move you forward through sickness and health, and every milestone in between. Hello possibility, hello healthy, hello life. Avera, moving health forward.
I've had Parkinson's since February 28, 2011. The class has improved my tremors to a certain extent. It's awesome to think I can come up here 3 times a week and stretch and feel better when I go home, because then you can do things you really want to do in real life. Everybody's got their problem. You talk about it. You help them solve it. It's awesome because that's really part of the whole program also. If you have the symptoms, come and visit us. We can help you. You really get to know each other as a friend and a comrade.
All right, we will get you right back to election results in just a moment. I do want to show you what's going on with weather tonight across Nebraska. 60s, 70s, and 80s right now across the state. We've had a very warm day and summer-like dew points in southeast Nebraska. We have seen the peak of those numbers, and I do believe for you, over the next day and a half, the dew point will come down. But it's going to take a while, and you're going to be humid for a while. We have mainly clear skies over the state right now, but you can see some Clouds starting to nose up from the south, and I think that they are going to nose up into Nebraska overnight tonight. And by tomorrow evening, probably produce some scattered thunder, especially in northeast Nebraska, and then a little bit more in the late night, overnight hours through portions of central Nebraska. And then another line forms Thursday night. I think that could produce some severe weather in eastern Nebraska. So a whole lot going on here over the next day or so. 40s, 50s, 60s overnight tonight, tomorrow. Some upper 70s, but mainly 80s and 90s. And again, I expect the humidity to be down a little bit tomorrow and down a little bit more on Thursday in eastern Nebraska where it has been up. 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s on Thursday. And then the front comes through, which gives us a chance of severe weather Thursday night, and that leaves us 70s to around 80 on Friday. All right, I'll see you at the top of the hour, joined by Carolyn, who has all of Nebraska's news from today. Meanwhile, let's get you back for more election coverage. Here's Eric McKay.
Well, there you go. The gubernatorial race on the Republican side, those red bars have now moved in Jim Pillen's favor right now as we sit with, again, probably about 50% of the votes counted. Jim Pillen has taken the lead in the race, just shy of 40,000 votes, about 32%. We've got Brett Lindstrom sitting at 30%. His lead has waned. Charles Herbster is slowly gaining ground, still kind of stuck at that 26% mark, just shy of 27%. We'll see as we get more results come in from out west and central Nebraska if he is able to make gains there. Keeping our eye on local results as well as they come in, as you might imagine. Turnout was a little bit higher, I think, than folks might have initially thought, or certainly what we're used to for midterms. Some of these local results a little bit later than what you'd normally get in a May election. But we do have some results. Carolyn Conti standing by with more. Carolyn?
Thank you, Eric. I want to look at the village of Huntley, which lies in Harlan County, that's south central Nebraska. This village only has 43 people as of the last population count in 2021. And so they are voting whether or not to abolish the village incorporation. That means they would just become part of the county. We're seeing 7 people for and 9 against. So by the end of the night, they might still be a village. We'll check in on that later. But I also want to look at this mayoral race in David City. We see Jessica Miller has 49 votes, Raymond Burt with 3, James Sylvester with 12. So it looks like Jessica might be taking that race, and that might be the first mayoral race of the night I've seen where a woman is in the lead. We'll keep an eye on all of these and more local elections throughout the night. It's very exciting to see how these results look like.
Absolutely, Carolyn. Thank you so much. Carolyn Conti's been doing a great job tonight keeping us abreast of things around northeast Nebraska. This evening, did want to give you a couple of other results on the local level. We talked about unincorporating towns. There's another one in southeast Nebraska that might be as well. The village of Preston down in Richardson County has a vote tonight on whether or not to unincorporate. We have not gotten any results in on that one yet in Richardson County. We do have a few mayoral votes that have come in out of there. Humboldt's Mayor Ron Rathbone in the lead with 15 votes. Dylan Herr with 8. You also have the Falls City city sales tax, the 0.5% local option sales tax. Right now is winning 84 to 53. With the lead there. Head to newschannelnebraska.com. We will have updates on local results as they come in all night tonight. Folks are working hard behind the scenes here, not blabbing at you on camera, but behind the scenes, making sure all the local results that you want, not just around the ticker, you can see that throughout the night as well. But you can head to newschannelnebraska.com. We are about 8 minutes away from taking it back to regular programming, but we are nowhere near done in the gubernatorial race. Jake Bartecki, he's been doing a great job. He is standing by with the the Lindstrom camp, which has seen their lead wane. Jake, what are you hearing? What's the mood down there in Lincoln right now?
I am back here in Omaha as Brett Lindstrom's campaign party. The numbers have thinned out a little bit. A couple of people have decided to head on home for the night, but the energy in the room is still pretty solid. There's a lot of people that are still just enjoying the night, enjoying the ride, and he has fallen behind for the first first time here tonight to Jim Pillen, but confidence is still pretty high in the room. There's positivity. They still think they can get this done. I talked with a couple of supporters that said they actually think Brett Lindstrom's done a nice job out west. He's made it to all 93 counties in Nebraska. The big thing is Jim Pillen is a really good grassroots campaign in a lot of those small towns. They might shift his way, but people here still pretty confident that Brett Lindstrom can become Nebraska's 41st governor.
Thank you, Jake. Jake Bartecki's been doing a great job there in Omaha. Keeping, I think I said he was in Lincoln. He's not. He's in Omaha with the Herbster camp tonight, who has seen their lead trimmed down. It has slimmed now to 29% of the vote. Pillen is starting to take a fairly commanding lead now. He has really surged, 32.8% of the vote. Herbster is also gaining now in third, 27.24% of the vote, about 3,000 votes shy of Brett Lindstrom right now. So the Herbster camp probably has some confidence rising right now. A lot of supporters have made it to Lincoln. They're not looking for votes in Lincoln, though. They're trying to get them from out west, central and western Nebraska. Our Joe Jordan has been standing by covering the Herbster campaign really from day one. Was one of the first folks to interview Herbster after he announced his candidacy. And he's continuing to follow that campaign, is in Lincoln with more. Joe, what's the latest from the Herbster camp?
Eric, optimism continues to reign supreme here at Herbster headquarters, but it's very clear, talking to some of the insiders with the campaign, the numbers that they're seeing are showing what they say to me is a much closer race in the end than they had anticipated. They still believe Herbster's going to win, but they see the possibility that he might not. The numbers we're seeing right now, of course, find Jim Pillen in first place, Brett Lindstrom falling down now to second, Herbster coming up a bit, a closer third place. But again, Herbster's campaign, as we've said throughout the evening, is still confident that those western Nebraska counties are going to turn the vote, the pro-Trump vote, his way. At the same time, though, a few counties are showing up. Herbster isn't winning those counties by the margin that the Herbster campaign thought they would get going in. So right now, this is still boiling down to what a lot of the campaigns thought a week ago, 2 weeks ago, that it was going to be a Pillen-Herbster fight to the finish. On that note, keep in mind, the question that's sort of looming over this is what happens if Charles Herbster loses? Will he, as Mr. Trump has made the case over the past couple of years, will Herbster contest the election, make the case that the establishment in some way, shape, or form stole it from him? Well, first of all, if it's within that razor-thin recount margin of error, a recount would be mandated by state law. But if you get outside of 1 or 2%, then it would be up to somebody else to come in and say, okay, we're going to fight this thing further. Maybe the election was stolen. I tried to ask Mr. Herbster about this earlier tonight, and he just kept walking past me, wouldn't comment. That's where we are right now, Eric. A lot of no comment coming from the Herbster campaign in terms of how this thing is going to finish. Eric?
All right, thank you, Joe. Joe Jordan will be standing by our coverage here wrapping up. But as we find out more about the gubernatorial race, we will obviously pass it along to you. Carolyn Conti standing by. She's got updates on another sheriff's race in northeast Nebraska. Carolyn, take it away.
Thanks, Eric. Looking at Colfax County now, Sean Messerly is sweeping up this race with 1,012 votes. His opponent with just 275. Now note that because there is not a Democratic county sheriff race in this case, the winner of this race would essentially win the election. You can stay tuned for all those results on our website. Take it, Eric.
All right, thank you, Carolyn, and she's done a great job for us all night, keeping an eye on things on the local level. 93 counties to keep an eye on with local results. It's hard to keep track of everything. We've got a lot of counties that haven't sent results in yet, still getting things counted, and obviously making sure they're getting it right. We'll get those results in as soon as we can. Taking one more look at things on the statewide side, and Pillen is widening his advantage over Brett Lindstrom, now with about a 5,000 vote cushion, as 202 precincts have reported Lindstrom sitting in second. Charles Herbster starting to gain on him in third. Now Herbster sitting only about what is that, about 1,900 votes shy. Actually, no, much fewer than that. That's about 1,900. I can do math. Just shy of Brett Lindstrom in second place. Looking at some of the other races, Secretary of State looks pretty comfortable that Bob Evnen will be moving on. State Treasurer, we've got John Moranti with a comfortable lead over Paul Anderson. Mike Hilgers with a comfortable lead over Jennifer Hicks. Mike Foley doing well in the race for auditor. We'll very quickly get through as many legislative results as we can, and looking at some of these more contested races. Michaela Cavanaugh and Christian Murch doing well in District 6. We have District 12, Merv Reapy running away with things. That race for second is still close, though, between Kuchera, Richards, and Borgeson. That bears noting. District 18, still way too close to call early on. Michael Young with a very slim lead over Christy Armandaris and Clarice Jackson. District 20 right now, Stu Dornan out in front with the Fredricksons behind him. Julie Fredrickson has gained some votes, but still has some work to do to advance to the general there. District 26, two of these candidates are going to be eliminated. As of now, it looks like it'll be Bob Van Valkenburg and Larry Wexelman. We'll go down to that Northeast Nebraska district, District 40. Barry DeKay with the lead. Mark Patterfield has had a huge gain as more precincts come in. He has vaulted into second ahead of Keith Kuby, who was the runner-up in the general in this race in 2018. Robert Johnston currently sitting in fourth there. And District 46, Danielle Conrad doing very well. We have a few votes now in District 48. Don Least with an early lead. Brian Harden in second. 3 of those will be eliminated when the votes are tallied this evening. I'm going to take one more look at governor. Right now, Pillen with about a 3 percentage point lead over Lindstrom. Herbster sitting in third. Follow us online, newschannelnebraska.com. Facebook, Twitter will have results as they come in there. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to thank all our reporters all over the state. You'll be hearing much more from them as the night goes on. But you've been watching live coverage of the 2022 midterm election on News Channel Nebraska.